Welcome back to the channel. This is the action figure grader. This is being made for December 19th. So we're getting close to Christmas. And that often means for collectors that a lot of our collecting kind of play money gets put to other people and other things. And that's certainly true for me. And I've got to put some money towards kids and family. I actually sold a couple of items on Rogue 5 Toys to help pay for a new necklace my wife wants. She's very demanding when she wants to be. But what I'm trying to get at is that there's not a lot of great sales that has happened, at least as of the making of this video. I did find a few that I wanted to talk about. So, as always, thanks to my Patreon supporters. I really appreciate the channel support from you guys. Patreon.com/actionfiguregrader is where you can go to sign up. Don't forget to leave me a like for this video if you enjoyed it. So let's take a look at some recent sales for the vintage collection. Again, not a huge batch, but just stuff I wanted to at least cover with you. I'm sure I missed a number of items that have sold, but I don't know what's going on with the special action figure sets. But if you are looking to add those to your collection, now's a really good time to do that because I've seen these Target exclusive 3-packs. This is the second time I've seen some really good deals on these. There was another set that a seller named Giorgio Joe had, and I'm going to cover some of his sales in a second. But he had 4 of them that were all together, and they were very inexpensive, I think, for all 4 of them. They all looked really clean as well. And then that was last week's video, I believe, or maybe 2 weeks ago. I can't remember. But then we had this one. This one had 3 different unpunched special action figure sets. We had the villain set, the hero set, and the rebel set, the Hoth rebel set. And they were all unpunched in what I could tell to be very pretty good shape, you know. And it was $75, best offer accepted. Now, it was $16 shipping. And the best offer that was accepted was $68 plus $16 shipping. That puts you at about $84 for these 3-packs. And to me, that's a pretty good deal to get 3 of them all in shipped for $84. So if you're looking for those, keep an eye out for these kinds of lots. That's the second time now that we've seen a pretty good deal, in my opinion, for those early 2010 Target exclusive 3-packs. On to Giorgio Joe. I didn't realize he was right after this, but he had an unpunched Return of the Jedi Boba Fett. That one sold for $100. It did have the offer paperwork inside. I did not see, I guess it was maybe a prototype Fett offer, or maybe the Darth Maul offer. I can't remember. But this one did have paperwork inside. It was the U.S. card, and there was no offer sticker on it. But I wanted to at least point that one out because that was nice. I had $100. And then same seller also had this unpunched ESB version, the original issue, obviously, not the reissue from 2019, I believe. This is the 2011 version. That was also very clean and unpunched. And that one sold for $120. So 2 different data points for 2 different Boba Fett's Return of the Jedi as well as the ESB version. He also had this one, the Revenge of the Jedi Black Rebel Commando. This one is the retail release, not the SDCC version that came offerless. So this one's got the paperwork inside with the prototype Boba Fett offer sticker on there, VC26. So I'm assuming that that's what this one was. This one was a prototype Fett offer that was on there, just given that's kind of around the same time, VC09, VC26. So that's one we hadn't talked about in a while, and the prices are all over the map. I think it was only one Kenobi, and shout out to OOK. Nick, I hope you're doing well. I think he was the one that was telling me that the Canadian Rebel Commando, the Black Rebel Commando on the Canadian card back with the multi-language name pill, I believe, is a tough one to track down. I think that was him that told me that. So if you're looking for that one, just keep an eye out for Canadian example. I thought this was a steal of a deal. This one was the Darth Vader name pill, Anakin VC13. Now, you are taking some risk that it's in clean condition. I don't know what's going on in the upper left-hand corner. To me, that looks like reflections. It doesn't look like a long scratch going down the card, but I think that's just reflections in the photos. But this looked to be pretty clean, and it was an unpunched VC13 for $93, which I thought was a great deal. $8 shipping, so a little over $100 for an unpunched Darth Vader name pill VC13. Pretty good deal there. And then here is that one, that unpunched Clone Commander Cody that Primitive Irons had for sale. I act like I know this person. I don't know who this person is, but I bought from this seller before and been very happy. So one of y'all bought it. I know who did buy it, and congrats. He said he's gonna send it in to AFA for grading. So good luck on it. It looked to be a really clean example, and it sold for $10 less than what the last unpunched Clone Commander Cody sold for on eBay, which was $5.99. This one sold for $5.89, free shipping. And you got to remember that I've got a video out there somewhere in the nether regions or in the ether of the internet that there was one that was at auction. This again was several years ago, but it was like $1,300, something crazy like that. I don't remember. But if you got a Clone Commander Cody unpunched in your nether regions, now it may not be the good time to sell it because it has come down a lot. $589, $600, $650. Those are kind of the numbers I'm seeing either here or on Facebook. And if you're looking for one, now's probably a pretty good time to get one. I mean, I don't know how much lower it will get, but I guess time will tell as the vintage collection ages, whether people still will care about the vintage collection and having unpunched examples for some of these tougher to find TVC 1.0. But that one did sell at $589. This I thought was another really good deal. This was the Canadian VC64 Princess Leia in her slave outfit. Obviously, it's got the multi-language name pill that you can see there, and it's unpunched, and there's the Canadian card back. It was not perfect, in all fairness, okay? It had some light edge wear increasing, which the seller was kind enough to point out, but this is a really tough one to find. I feel like you just never see this. I see this might be the third or fourth time I've seen one of these on eBay. They just never pop up, and they just must not have been produced in very big numbers. And it was also offerless, right? So it's the offerless version, no paperwork, no sticker, unpunched. So I'm assuming that this came from some kind of Canadian version of the SDCC box set, multi-language version of it, or it was released up in Canada offerless without paperwork. And that may have been the case. One of y'all might have said that to me a long time ago, and I can't remember everything. I try to pretend like I do, but I don't, okay? But this one I thought was, I know it wasn't perfect. It had that crease on there, which he was kind enough to show, but it just doesn't pop up very often. It's just a very tough one to get. $206.50 on that one, $646 shipping. I think if it had been clean, really clean condition, you could probably expect $300 to $350, if not higher. I vaguely remember, and again, I'm guessing, I vaguely remember one selling that was in near mint condition and unpunched for over $400. And that might have been, 6 months plus ago, but I vaguely remember one of those selling in that price point. Another one that's kind of all over the map right now is Jar Jar Binks. We've talked about him before in recent sales. This one was a buy it now for $190. I've seen as low as $130, and I've seen even higher than $190 for Jar Jar Binks. And I know we talked about this one in the last week's video, but to me, if you're looking for this one, and I know a couple of you are because you told me about it and you told me to keep an eye out, but $190 is probably a little on the high side. I would try, if possible, to stay $150, $160, but if it's really clean like this one was, this one looked to be super, super clean, I can understand paying up a little bit for it. And again, I've seen prices higher than $190, so don't beat yourself up if you decide to pay $190 or even $200 for it, because there are several data points from recent sales in that price point. Another one, this one I think personally is an overpay. I wouldn't pay $312.98 for it. We've seen data points is in the twos, like the solid twos, like $250, $260, $270. This one did sell at $312.98, and it was super clean. I mean, this seller always has like case fresh TVC 1.0. So, he does tend to get higher prices. He asks higher prices, or she asks higher prices, but they probably deserve to, just given the condition of some of these harder to find items, or maybe not harder to find, but harder to find in really clean condition. And the early ships from the vintage collection meet that category. This Toys R Us exclusive usually has lots of scuffing and things like that. So, again, I'm not going to kill you for spending $312 on that, but I do think if you're patient, you can pick it up in the mid 200s. Next up, the Millennium Falcon. This sold in a buy it now for $650, and we just saw one that Brian's Toys had that sold for less than this, but it was not nearly this clean. I mean, this thing, whoever owned this one, I mean, you want to talk about pretty pristine. There was a little ding right here, but that probably happened inside the shipper box. Let's be real here. But the rest of it was really nice. I mean, this was a very, very clean example. $650 plus $30 shipping. And then the Galaxy's Edge, still in the factory shipper box from Hasbro, that one sold for $775 free shipping. So big numbers on the Falcons. I think those will continue to hold their value, especially because if you look at the vintage Kenner ones, those in high grade have really exploded. I mean, we've talked about that from our heritage videos and Hakes and high grade AFA graded examples, even not AFA graded examples. I mean, they're selling for an absolute boatload now. And I think that same trend will happen, not to the same extent, obviously, because these are modern items. But I do think that the Falcons, both the original Toys R Us as well as the Galaxy's Edge, I just feel like those are going to hold their value pretty well. I got some graded items as well. I wanted to show you AFA 9.0 Bastilla Sean with the Fett offer sticker, $275 on that one, which is, you know, that's a pretty solid number. It wasn't even uncirculated, and you can get Bastilla Sean now for about $100 ungraded, and probably get in that 8.5 to 9.0 gold level range. So $275 is a really good, healthy number. And a lot of these graded items did sell for big time numbers, which we haven't seen in a while. We haven't seen a lot of graded vintage collection that have sold for big numbers, but at least recently that seems to have been the case. This was Aura Singh. This one had 3-tier grading with the archival sticker, archival case sticker. So 90, 85, 90. It did get the 90 from AFA, and that one was listed for $275 and sold for $225 on that. Again, that's a very strong number given that you can get a really clean Aura Singh ungraded for about half that price, if not less. So $225, a good solid number there. We had one from One Stop Comic Shop. Shout out to Daniel. Great dude. If you're ever looking for cool signed items, both comic books as well as action figures, go check out One Stop Comic Shop on eBay as well as Instagram. He is not a sponsor of the channel. He's just a really good dude. So I want to give him a shout out. And he had this one for sale. This was a CAS 80 plus grade signature series yellow label signed by Rosario Dawson. This is VC 297 Ahsoka Tano. That is a great item. You know, to me, if you're going to get Rosario Dawson's signature, get it on one of the recent Ahsokas where it's made in her likeness. But I just think that is a killer item. That one was listed for $400 and he sold it for $285. So he does come off of these list prices and you can make an offer. He's got some kind of retro collection looking X-Men signed by the voice actors for the X-Men cartoon. And it's like the kind of the modern action figures signed by the voice actors. I know he's got Magneto as well as Cyclops. And those have the CAS Signature Series labels. So go check out his other... I'm going to pull it up right now, actually, because I was looking at those. I really want to buy them, if I'm being honest with you. So CAS graded figures. He's got a whole category for them. And he's got Darth Maul, a Barry Lowen signed Mando. He's got a Spencer, what's his name, Wilding signed Darth Vader. He's got D. Bradley Baker... all of those. Where are those X-Men, though? He had some X-Men figures. He's got Power Rangers. Here you go. This is the one I like. I like this one a lot. So this one is Matthew Watterson, who voices Magneto, signed on the Marvel Legends card. And that's a CAS 90 grade. That's listed for $300. Make an offer. And then he's got a Skeletor, the what do you call it? The Super 7 Skeletor signed by the voice actor. And there's the Cyclops. I love that one too, man. That's an 85 plus signed, and that's Ray Chase who voiced Cyclops. So go check out his item. Again, I'm not like sponsored or anything. He didn't ask me to do this. I'm just doing it because I love his items. He's got so many awesome signature series items. So if you're into collecting signed action figures already graded for you, these are already graded by CAS. It costs like $100 plus shipping to and from, because you got to authenticate the signature as well as grade the action figure, and then you got to ship it to and from CAS. I mean, these are really awesome items for very fair prices, in my opinion. So go check those out. Next up, we've got a Boba Fett VC285 uncirculated 9.0. This is the Boba Fett in the Tusken disguise. That's a pretty awesome figure. I mean, I love that figure. The face sculpt is awesome. 140 on that one. That was an uncirculated 9.0 for the Book of Boba Fett Tusken version of Boba Fett. And we had the error for Princess Leia Organa. So this is where it had the VC164 error on the back of the card instead of the correct VC150. And so VC164 is actually Cara Dune. More on her in a little while. But this is where the Leia Yavin ceremony was incorrectly labeled on the back of the card. So this was an AFA 8.5. That one sold for $150. And that seems to be about the going rate. For a 9.0, you might have to get into the 200s for a graded example. But that's the VC164 error for Leia Yavin. And then speaking of Cara Dune, so this was the first time I've seen a sealed case for sale in a long time. This was a sealed case of the VC164 Cara Dune. It sold for $200. Think about where she was. You know, this was a hot item for a little while because Hasbro canceled her. They said they were going to stop producing any more of her. And obviously Disney fired her. And then all of a sudden it shot up because everyone was freaking out. Like, oh my God, I've got to get it for my collection. And there were like graded examples going for like $400, $300, crazy numbers. And then here you go. You got a sealed case of 8 of them for $200. So pretty wild to see how much that one has come back down to earth. But that's the nature of collecting. You can buy high and sell low. I do that all the time with stocks. It's a lot of fun. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this look at recent sales for the vintage collection. Again, please leave me a like if you enjoyed it. Thanks again, and I'll be back soon.